of a quaint town stood a sprawling Victorian mansion, its towering presence casting long shadows that seemed to stretch far into the surrounding streets. Within its ancient walls dwelled the enigmatic puppeteer, Elijah Blackwood, a man whose talent with strings and wood was revered by all who knew him. Yet, despite his acclaim, there lingered an aura of mystery around him, as if he harbored secrets that even his closest confidants dared not inquire about. Elijah's fame was built upon his remarkable collection of puppets, each one a masterpiece of craftsmanship and artistry. His creations were lifelike, their movements so fluid and natural that they seemed almost alive. But it was not Elijah's skill that imbued his puppets with such an uncanny presence. It was whispered among the townsfolk that each puppet carried a piece of its creator's soul within it, a fragment of his being bound to the wood and string that brought them to life. As the years passed, Elijah's health began to fail, his once nimble fingers growing stiff and unsteady with age. Yet, even in his final days, he continued to toil away in his workshop, his passion for his craft undiminished by the passage of time. And when, at last, Elijah breathed his last breath, he left behind a legacy shrouded in darkness, a collection of puppets that seemed to hold the essence of their creator within them. Among Elijah's family, there was a sense of unease as they gathered in the dimly lit attic to sort through his belongings. His widow, Evelyn, traced her fingers along the delicate features of the puppets, a shiver running down her spine as she felt the weight of their gaze upon her. "They're beautiful, aren't they?" she whispered, her voice barely more than a breath. Her daughter, Emily, nodded silently, her eyes wide with wonder and trepidation. But beneath the surface, there was a sense of foreboding that neither could shake, a feeling that there was something not quite right about Elijah's beloved creations. As night fell and the family retired to their rooms, the puppets stirred to life, their strings twitching as if pulled by invisible hands. In the darkness, they moved with an eerie grace, their wooden limbs creaking softly as they danced to a silent melody that echoed through the empty halls of the mansion. Evelyn awoke to the sound of laughter echoing through the house, a high-pitched tinkling sound that sent shivers down her spine. With trembling hands, she lit a candle and made her way to the attic, her heart pounding in her chest as she pushed open the door. What she saw there made her blood run cold. The puppets were alive, their strings moving of their own accord as they cavorted around the room in a twisted parody of life. At the center of the chaos stood the marionette, Elijah's masterpiece, its porcelain face twisted into a grotesque grin. "Elijah?" Evelyn whispered, her voice trembling with fear. But there was no answer, only the mocking laughter of the puppets as they continued their dance. As the days passed, the puppets grew more unruly, their movements becoming increasingly erratic and violent. They seemed to delight in tormenting Evelyn and Emily, whispering dark secrets in the dead of night and playing cruel pranks that left them trembling with fear. Desperate for answers, Evelyn turned to Elijah's old journals, hoping to find some clue as to what was happening. What she discovered chilled her to the bone. Elijah had made a pact with dark forces in exchange for his talent, binding his soul to his creations for all eternity. But there was a way to break the curse, a way to free Elijah's soul from its wooden prison. Armed with this knowledge, Evelyn and Emily set out to confront the puppets once and for all. With a mixture of courage and trepidation, they entered the attic, prepared to face whatever horrors awaited them. But the puppets were ready for them. With a malicious gleam in their eyes, they attacked, their wooden limbs moving with unnatural speed and precision. Evelyn and Emily fought bravely, but they were no match for the puppets' dark magic. Just as all seemed lost, Evelyn remembered something she had read in Elijah's journals, a spell of protection passed down through generations of puppeteers. With trembling hands, she began to chant the words, her voice growing stronger with each passing moment. And as the last syllable left her lips, there was a blinding flash of light, and the puppets fell silent, their strings going limp, as their twisted souls were banished from this world. Exhausted but triumphant, Evelyn and Emily collapsed to the floor, the weight of their ordeal finally lifting from their shoulders. As they looked around the attic, they knew that Elijah's dark legacy had finally been put to rest, and that his soul could finally find peace. But somewhere, in the depths of the night, a single puppet lay forgotten, its porcelain face twisted into a wicked smile as it waited patiently for its next victim.